So hello everyone, in this video we are going to understand what is Rowspan and the Colspan. So basically Rowspan and the Colspan are the attributes we add to any single uh, column or any single cell that allows us to take up the space for the multiple elements. So for example, if you want this heading to come in the next column as well, so you'll be giving it a call span. Let me just show you how practically can we do that. So I'm adding one more row, for example, that this will be not one more row, one more heading. Let me just add that. So if I add th here, and then that th contains, let's say, a phone number. Now we have the five or the four headings, but we are specifying only three items in the next rows. So three items are there, but the headings are four. So this one is going to come into the next column. You can see that this column is now empty. This is not containing anything. So what we can do is we can increase one heading or one table data. If we increased one heading, then we have to increase one more data as well, because the first TD was for this TH, the second TD was for the roll number, and the third TD was for class. But for this, there is no TD in the rows, so that's why I'm adding one more TD for the phone number, in which I can specify, let's say, any phone number, and I can close that. So if I save it, so in the second row I have added one more item, so that's going to reflect here. You can see that in the phone number it is showing, but the next one is still empty, so I can add one more TD here. So now it will be very good, and our table will not be having any issue or any empty cell. So you can see that. But what I want is I want this heading to take up two columns. Like if I want to specify two more numbers, like one number is there, one phone number is there. I also want the second phone number to come beside this one, but the heading should be similar to this one, like the phone number should be again. The one way is that we can specify one more heading here, like one more phone number heading, and we can increase one more TD in each row. You remember that we have 5 TH now, so in each row there should be 5 TDs. So to give it the equal width, let me just add any fake number. So actually I'm increasing one TH and one TD here. So now it will be enough, right? Now you can see that two phone numbers are there, but the headings are the similar phone number and the phone number. So what I want is I don't want to repeat this cell again and again. I only want this phone number to take up two cells. Like this one is taking one column. You can consider this vertical item as one column, and this one is the second column. And I want this cell to take up the second column as well. I don't want this second heading, but the single heading should be in two columns. So what I can do is I can remove this extra th which I wrote here, because it is repeated code or the repeated heading. So I can remove this one, and I can specify call span here. Why I'm specifying call span here? Because I want the columns to take up the two columns. I want this cell to take two columns or the space of two cells. So I can specify two here. So always remember that call span starts from like the minimum value for call span should be two. not less than 2, because 1 is the by default value, because one column is actually given to a single cell. So now what will happen is this phone number will take up the space of this phone number, and this one will come into the 2 column. Now you can see that it is now taking up the second column as well, like the width of the second column as well. So this alone cell is taking up the 2 columns. Why? Because I have specified 2 here. So if I specify 3 here, then it will take up the space of 3 columns. But you know that the next column is not there, so it is not taking up. But if I increase one more TD there, then the columns will be increased. So it will take up that. If I increase that and paste it, so it will take up the 3 column width. Now you can see that. So it is taking up the 3 column width. Why? Because we have specified call span there. Similarly, you can specify any number of columns for this single cell. It is not valid for TH only. You can specify it for TD as well. But remember, if we are specifying call span, so make sure you have the TDs, extra TDs in the other rows as well. So you will find it only 4th, but not. It is actually having the space of 3 and 3 6 th, so it is having the space of 6th. So in the next rows you should always be having the 6 tds. Remember that, because the 3 tds will be having the same heading or the same width of the column. This one will be taking up this 3 columns width or the 3 cells width alone. So that's why we specify call span here. Similarly, we have the raw span concept. We can specify raw span. For example, there is no option here to specify. I have to create a separate table, but I know you can remember this. So let's say we have this one. We have one different table. Let me just remove it. Now we have the table row. I can specify tr here. Let's say, and inside that I can specify the th, let's say name. I can specify the name here, Raj, let's say, and this should be td, not th. So I'm creating one horizontal table actually. So let me just see what happens now. So if we refresh the page, so you can see name is there and the name value is there. Similarly, I want one more table row which will contain, let's say, which will contain the heading of phone number. The same example I can take, right? I want the phone number beside that heading, the TD. And similarly, I want one more row that will be having the same heading but the different phone number. So it was the case in our column layout, but now it is the case in the row layout as well. So now you can see this row is having the same heading, the phone number and the phone number, and this phone number is 2 times, but the different phone number is there, because we want that. We want different phone numbers in different rows, but we want the same heading for the both of the rows. So for that, we actually need to specify this cell to take up the next row as well. In earlier one, we were actually giving it the width, or like the width of the vertical columns, But now in this case, we want this phone number to take up the next row as well, or the height of the next row. So in the call span, it was taking up the width, but in the row span, we have to specify number of rows we want to specify the width for. Like I want this phone number to take up the next row as well, or the height of the next row as well. So this should come in one like in one row, like it should look like a one row, but it should be having the height of two rows. So how can we do that? We can do that by simply adding one row span here. I can specify two here. So this th will actually take up the height of the first element as well in the next row. I can remove that then. I don't need this. So if I've given this row span 2, then it will come in its row as well, but in the second row as well, because we have specified 2 here. So that's why it will come in the second row as well. But we haven't written anything, but it'll come that. So it will be having the height of 2 rows. Now you can see that this phone number is taking up the 2 rows of height. This is how we specify row span. We can also increase one more item, and if I have one more phone number, let's say, so I can add that here in the TD, and I can add a number, and I can close that. But this TD will be alone. That's why we'll be giving 3 here. So it will come in this row, in this row, and in this row. So total 3 rows of height will be given to this single th only. So it is not valid for th. You can give it for td as well, as I have told you, or in call span as well. So you can see that it is taking up the height of 3 rows now. So this is how we actually add a row span in the table and the call span in table. I hope you got something. If you have some problem or issue, you can comment down and we'll definitely be solving that. Thank you for watching. Let's meet in the another video.